Meet Glenn. Glenn is 30. He works as an administrative assistant at a real estate company. He answers emails, updates listings, handles paperwork, keeps things moving while other people say things like, "Let's touch base." He's a decent guy, a little tired, slightly overweight, hair starting to thin a bit on top. He has a healthy bulldog named Norman, who is probably the most emotionally stable one in the house. Glenn wants to live a healthier lifestyle. And from time to time, Glenn tells himself the same thing. That his new life starts Monday, not today. Today is a mess. Monday, that's the day he's going to get it together. That's when he'll wake up early, eat better, walk Norman before work, perhaps even get a little workout in. The Sunday night version of Glenn stands in the kitchen unpacking groceries like a man on a mission. Chicken, brown rice, salad, tuna, eggs. You know the look. It's not meal prep. It's hope. Because tomorrow is Monday, and Monday feels important. Why does this feel so convincing? Your brain loves a fresh, clean slate, a new week, a new haircut, your birthday. These moments feel different, even when they're not, but they feel like a reset. Psychologists call this the fresh start effect. Basically, some dates make it easier to believe the old you is gone and the new you has arrived, and Glenn loves that idea. Old Glenn orders takeout because it's been a long day. Old Glenn stays up too late watching videos he didn't even mean to click on. Old Glenn says things like, "I just need to get back on track." Then there is the new Glenn. The new Glenn burns calories. The new Glenn owns food containers with matching lids. The new Glenn enjoys an occasional cold plunge. Will any of that happen? Hard to say. Here's the tricky part. When Glenn says, "I'll start Monday," he feels relief. Because a plan can feel like progress, sometimes a little too much. Glenn writes Monday reset on a notepad. He makes a list. Wake up at 5, no snacks. Walk Norman, healthy breakfast, no snacks. Gym after work, healthy dinner, no snacks. That's not really a list. That's a full lifestyle rebrand. And for a few minutes, Glenn feels amazing. You ever do that? Make a plan and immediately feel proud, even though you haven't done any of it? Yeah, that's part of it. Another reason this works so well, Monday feels official. Starting something on a random Wednesday feels flimsy. But Monday has authority. If Monday was a coworker, it would dress sharp and say things like, "Just wanted to follow up on this." So, of course, Glenn puts his faith in Monday. But Glenn is not planning for a normal Monday. He's planning for Mythical Monday. That's different. Mythical Monday wakes up before the alarm, ready to get stuff done. Mythical Monday blends raw beets, Greek yogurt, and blueberries for a healthy smoothie. Mythical Monday takes Norman for a walk and even has time to circle a couple more blocks. And then there's Real Monday. Real Monday hits snooze 3 times. Real Monday puts on gym clothes and takes a nap. Real Monday eats a donut in the break room because someone brought them in and, well, it would be rude not to. See the problem? Glenn keeps building his goals around a version of Monday that doesn't exist. There's something else going on, too. Glenn does not want to improve a little. He wants to improve all at once. His brain doesn't say, "Maybe I'll ease into this." No, his brain says, "Starting Monday, we become a new man." It's not just a habit change. It's a full identity change. And that's part of the problem. Because when the goal gets too big, starting feels heavy. It feels serious. It feels like you need the perfect moment. So Glenn waits, not because he doesn't care, because he cares so much he wants to do it perfectly. And if today already feels off, then today doesn't count. You had a burger and fries for lunch? Well, that day is cooked. Might as well regroup and start fresh on Monday. Then there's the final splurge. This part is kind of amazing. The second Glenn decides Monday becomes the day of discipline, the weekend becomes the last days of chaos. Now it's time for the farewell tour, last snack run before Monday, and somehow the final days of letting loose gets pretty generous. It's a great system if your goal is to feel hopeful without changing anything, which, to be honest, is sometimes exactly what the brain is trying to do. Then Monday shows up, not Mythical Monday, just regular Monday. Glenn didn't sleep great. Norman is chasing a squirrel and refuses to come back inside while Glenn is already running late. Glenn realizes that he's not going to make it to work if he doesn't stop for gas first. The Monday reset is already off to a terrible start. The healthy breakfast becomes a stale candy bar from the vending machine. The gym becomes, today was just too hectic. The early bedtime becomes, maybe just one more cat video. And as Monday night concludes, Glenn is telling himself next week will be different. You see how this keeps going? At this point, it can look like laziness, but most of the time, it's not. It's avoidance mixed with hope. Starting is uncomfortable. It asks something from you right now. Effort, energy, friction. So, the brain looks for a smoother opening, a cleaner start, a better day. But that better day usually doesn't come. Not in the way we imagine. Real change rarely begins on a perfect day. It usually starts in the middle of a pretty average one. A tired Thursday, a messy kitchen, a random evening where nothing feels inspiring at all. That's the part people don't love hearing. But it's also the useful part, because it means you don't need a magical day. You just need a start. Motivation is not very reliable. We like to think we need to feel ready first, then we'll act. Usually it works the other way around. You start, and then motivation catches up. Glenn doesn't feel like running, but once he's outside, he's fine. He doesn't feel like catching up on emails, but once the computer's on, he might as well finish. That's how momentum works. It's not dramatic, it's not exciting, it just lowers the resistance once you begin. The real issue with starting specifically on Monday is that it keeps Glenn waiting for motivation to arrive first. But in reality, motivation is actually waiting for Glenn to arrive. What can Glenn do to make this easier? Small starts. That's it. Not, starting Monday, I'll change my whole life. But more like, I'm going to take 10 minutes for myself to stretch. That counts. Or, instead of walking, Norman and I are going to run tonight. That also counts. These small actions matter because they don't wake up the brain's internal drama department. They're manageable. And manageable is good. Manageable gets things done. Glenn doesn't need a personal transformation. He needs a few smaller wins that happen in real life, not in a Sunday night fantasy. No, Glenn is not lazy. He's human. He wants change. He means it every time. He just keeps handing the job to future Glenn. And future Glenn is a bit of a scam artist. But future Glenn never has to do anything today. That's the trick. Only current Glenn can do that. The tired Glenn. So if Monday helps, fine, use it. But don't wait for it. Because the opposite of procrastination isn't perfection. It's permission. Permission to start badly. Permission to start small. Permission to do something unimpressive on a completely ordinary day. That's how people actually change. Not in one dramatic reset. Not in a perfect new era. Just in small moments, repeated enough times that they start to matter. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for many more extremely small problems treated very seriously. I hope to see you soon.